Yo, what is up, you guys? Ryan Brewer back here, the host of Michael Myers Reacts, and welcome to MMR Live number 14. Now, before we get into all the Spiral discussion, I want to give you guys an update on the series MMR Live. So I'm going to take the show back to its roots. I said that on a stream I did a couple nights ago, which was just a random stream. Hanging out with you guys was a really good time. If you guys haven't watched that stream, I will link it in the description down below. It was a really fun time. I plan on doing more streams like that at some point where we just hang out and just talk about horror. I always love doing that stuff. I know it was random, so I want to thank everybody who did join for that stream. But here is my update on the MMR Live episodes. When I say I'm going to bring the show back to its roots, I'm going to try to make this a weekly show once again. So this show will be every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to do my best to do them weekly. Now, if anything changes, I will update you guys on my Facebook page or my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram or my Facebook page, all that stuff is in the description down below. The what is in the description down below. You guys should definitely follow my Facebook page and my Instagram, because if things change, I will let you guys know. But I am aiming to make this a weekly show once again, like it used to be when I first started. So that is the small MMR Live update that I wanted to give you guys, because, you know, when I started this show, it was supposed to be weekly, and then, you know, I told you guys that I'm not great at scheduling things. Like, I'll say I'll do something, but I don't. I'm going to try it again to make this show weekly, so I should be back here again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern for MMR Live number 15. I do have some topics scheduled, but I'm not going to tell you guys those yet. You're going to have to wait until I, set up the stream and all that stuff. Again, if you follow my Facebook page or Instagram, you will be let known. You will know earlier than a lot of people what the next topic is going to be. Another thing I wanted to talk about tonight is I wanted to rant about YouTube. I told you guys I was going to do a little rant about YouTube, and I'm going to do it. So most of you may or may not know that I was at 595 subs, and then I got dropped down to 574. And some of you may be wondering, like, whoa, what happened? Is Michael Myers Reacts canceled? What's going on here? Honestly, I didn't even know what happened. I checked my YouTube Creator Studio, and next thing I knew, I lost like 21 subs, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense. So I was talking to a friend about it, and I told him about it, and he said it's probably just YouTube cleaning up the platform, getting rid of inactive accounts, which, you know, it's a bummer that, you know, I was 5 away from hitting 600. I was really excited. And then, you know, I get dropped down, which sucks. But, it's honestly a good thing, though. Like, if these accounts aren't going to be watching my content anyways, then, you know, it is for the best, but it's just a bummer. It's like you're so close to 600, 5 away from 600, and they take like 21 subs. So, you know, that was a bummer, but, you know, we have bounced back a little bit. I'm currently at 582, I believe, which isn't that bad. It's all good. You know, I can earn them back, and I'm glad that the people who are always here are still here. I don't think I lost anybody who watches. I think it was just accounts that aren't being used anymore. And I think it's really good that YouTube does clean up the platform. But it really was a bummer. And I just wanted to get that out of the way, because some of you may have been wondering. Some of you may not have been wondering. I don't know. But I just wanted to kind of make that clear and let you know. What am I saying? Let you guys know on what may have happened. I'm actually not 100% sure if that is what happened, but I'm guessing that's what it was, because there's no way that I lost 21 subs. I've never had that happen in the history of me being on this channel. So I would have to say it was probably YouTube cleaning up the platform. So I am going to read chat, but I'm going to get on my phone and do it, because every time I try to do it on my laptop here, it goes too quick and I miss chats, and I want to get everybody's chats. And we are going to talk about Spiral, so calm down, people. You know, I'm going to get to it here in a second. But I want to give a shout out to a couple people who is in the chat right now. Horrorman93, what is up? Kelsey, what is up? Let's see what we got here. Rewatch Spiral today. Honestly, it was better the second time than my first watch. I like the movie more since my second watch. It has some great traps in it. I love the opening trap with the detective. I'm going to talk about the traps on here as well. Before we get into this, I want to kind of give you guys my first impressions of Spiral. Like, when Spiral came out, I was a little, iffy about it, which is bad to say, because, we got the announcement that Chris Rock had an idea for a Saw movie, which I was like, Chris Rock, Saw doesn't really go together. Now, I don't know everything that Chris Rock has done, so I'm not going to sit here and say that he can't play a serious role, because I don't know everything that Chris Rock has done. But just the thought of Chris Rock being in a horror movie didn't sit well with me. I'm not sure if he's in any other horror movies. He might be. And if he is, then I apologize, because, again, I haven't seen everything that Chris Rock has done. So I was kind of worried at first. I was like, Chris Rock is going to be doing a Saw movie. Like, how is this going to work out, right? Because we all know Chris Rock is a comedian, and he is a pretty funny guy. But I was like, how is this going to work out? And I kind of ate my words, because Spiral is now my third favorite in the franchise. You guys can see that from the title of this MMR Live. It is my third favorite in the franchise. So I hold Spiral very, very high. I really love the movie. My first two favorite is the original Saw and Saw 3, and then Spiral. But Spiral was really, really good. And I know there's a lot of people complaining that Spiral was too different or whatever. I agree, Spiral is different than the other Saw movies we have in the franchise, but it's not that much different. I mean, you still have your typical traps, you still have your typical gore. I mean, it's still a Saw movie. If you show somebody who's seen the Saw franchise, if somebody watched the entire Saw franchise and you've shown them Spiral, you know, they could pretty much tell you that this is, what is this, a Saw movie? Because it is a Saw movie. Now, it is different, I will agree. Obviously, John Kramer really has nothing to do with this movie. He is mentioned. He does have not really a cameo. I mean, we see a picture of him in the movie. He is mentioned, which I'm glad they did. They did that. But that's really all we get of John Kramer, as most of you know. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Spiral, you might not want to watch this yet, because I am going to talk about some spoilers. But as most of you know who have seen Spiral, it's a copycat killer. It's someone who's taken on, you know, acting like they're Jigsaw, but they're not. And I can see why people are saying it's different, because it is, but at the same time, you know, it's still very much Saw. So, like, I feel like Saw fans should be satisfied with Spiral. I've seen that complaint so many times, and I'm like, I understand it, but if you're a Saw fan, you should like Spiral, because it's still very much a Saw movie. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Let's get back on here. Hanging by the tongue on. Oh yeah, the first kill with Boz. Yeah, that's a great kill. Well, great trap and kill. Let's see. Probably my favorite trap in the movie is the one with the guy getting his fingers ripped off. Yeah, that's Fitch. I think his name's Fitch. Something like that. I'll get into the kills later on. Let's see. I think Chris Rock had a good performance. He mixed comedy with serious acting. That's another thing I was going to mention. There is comedy in Spiral, which, you know, that's kind of to be expected, especially since Chris Rock is in this. It's a comedian. Spiral was more of a serious movie than comedy. I wouldn't even consider Spiral a horror comedy. I would consider it just strictly horror. Because it really is more horror than anything. Of course, there's jokes in it. Like in the beginning, you got like the Forrest Gump joke, and there's a few other jokes too. There's some lines with Sam Jackson that's pretty funny as well. And by the way, if you've been hesitant on watching Spiral, I mean, just Sam Jackson being in a Saw movie alone should make you want to watch this movie. I mean, that's pretty awesome to me. But yeah, the comedy wasn't like over the top or anything like that. It landed. The jokes definitely landed. So I wouldn't sit here and say that it's a horror comedy. It is more serious. And that's another thing I want to say too. I got to give props to Chris Rock, because again, he's a comedian and he could really play a serious role. I mean, he's a very good detective. Honestly, some people may not agree with this, especially hardcore Chris Rock fans, but I think Zeke is his best role ever. I think that's his best performance in any film that he's ever done. Again, I haven't seen everything, so, you know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but from what I've seen of Chris Rock, Zeke is my favorite character that Chris Rock has played. Some of you may not agree with that, but I loved Chris Rock as Zeke. Very good detective. He did really well. Let's see. Awesome dude. Will be cool for MMR to go back to the roots. It definitely is. Like I said, I want to do these weekly again, every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Definitely want to do that. So if you guys are fans of horror and you just want to talk horror, definitely join. What am I saying? Definitely subscribe to the channel, because this is all we do. We sit here, we talk horror. I don't always do live streams. The live streams will probably be weekly with just MMR lives. I'm still going to do videos as well. Just wanted to make that clear. So if you guys are horror fans and you're new to the channel, please subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Let's see. I also think it's my third favorite because behind the original Saw and because it's behind the original Saw and Saw 2. Saw 2 is actually my fourth favorite in the franchise because I don't know. I have like this special place for Saw 3. I've always loved Saw 3. I mean, obviously we got Amanda and Jigsaw's dying, aka John Kramer. I don't know, something about Saw 3 always stuck with me more than Saw 2. I think Saw 2 is a really good sequel. Funny enough, I've seen people hate on Saw 2, and I'm kind of like, how can you hate on Saw 2? Because Saw 2 is a pretty good movie. But I prefer Saw 3 over 2, but I'm not mad at that ranking at all, because the first two are very good. Chris Rock never been in a horror movie. So, according to Horror Man, Chris Rock has never been in a horror movie. So, with this being his first horror movie that he's been involved with, I think he did a really good job. I think that really goes to show that Chris Rock is more than comedy. I think some people, I did it. I'm guilty of it. I just labeled him as the comedian. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was kind of worried about Spiral when we got the announcement that, he's doing a Saw movie, a horror movie. I was like, Chris Rock? Really? I ate my own words because he really killed it. He did amazing. You shouldn't just label, if somebody is in the realm of one genre, you shouldn't just label them there because, that just shows how much talent Chris Rock has. And again, Chris Rock played, in my opinion, a very serious role in this movie. Yes, there was jokes, there was comedy, but for the most part, Chris Rock was serious in this movie, and that's awesome. It's not that different, but it's different that it's a copycat. Yeah, people have been complaining that, Spiral's too different. I think most Saw fans should be happy with Spiral because it's still very much a Saw movie. I do agree that it's different and it feels different than the original franchise. Technically, Spiral still ties into the original franchise because, of course, John Kramer being mentioned. But I see where people can... I see why people are saying it's different. That's what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, it's still very much Saw. So I really don't get that complaint. I feel like most Saw fans should be happy with this one, but it is what it is. Love Samuel Jackson in the movie for his the one. What? Love Sam L. Jackson in that movie for his the one. I don't know. Sam Jackson in this movie was great. Him alone being in the movie should have put butts in the seats at the theaters, and I'm sure it did. I think it's really cool that Sam Jackson did this. I think it's funny how, usually Sam Jackson, when whatever movies he's in, he's usually a main character or the focus of that movie. Marcus Banks, aka Sam Jackson, was not technically a main character in this movie. He was more of a backseat character. Now, he played a big role in the movie, but he wasn't like a major character. And that's another thing I wanted to say about Chris Rock. Chris Rock really glued this cast together. He really held this movie together. This movie really focuses on Zeke. And I love, too, how, in the beginning of the movie, Zeke is just this normal detective trying to be a detective. And you really see, with these cops getting picked off, you really see that, Zeke is losing it. He's losing his mind. And that's another thing I really loved. And Chris Rock really was the glue for this cast. I mean, without Chris Rock, this movie probably wouldn't have been great. It still would have been okay if it was the same, but let's say someone else played Zeke and it wasn't Chris Rock. It still probably would have been okay, but Chris Rock really, really shined in this movie. I definitely would say he's the glue of the movie and of the cast. So, props to Chris Rock. He really blew my mind with this movie. And the theater experience was amazing. I loved seeing it in theaters. It was the first Saw movie I saw in theaters. See what I did there? Alright, let's see. Where am I? Looking good today, keep making the videos. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. And I definitely will keep making the videos. I don't have any videos planned out, but I have a few MMR live topics planned out. That's going to happen, next week and so on. Let's see. Def not a horror comedy. It's not. It's strictly horror. I would say, yes, there's comedy thrown in, but it's a very serious film. Let's see. The wax kill was not graphic, but still shocking. Yeah, Angie's kill was let's get into the kills. I do have some notes, and it seems like everybody wants to talk about the kills. I'm going to rank the kills. I'm going to kind of rank the kills and talk about the kills. So here's if I counted correctly, I did watch the movie last night to refresh my mind. I believe there are 5 traps in Spiral from the Book of Saw. The first one is Boz's kill, the subway kill with the tongue. The second kill is Fitch's kill, the finger trap / electrocution kill. And then 3 was the hot wax kill, which is Angie. And then 4 was the broken shard, you know what I'm talking about, with the glass flying into the dude's back. That's Pete. And then the ending is, of course, Marcus Banks, which is Sam Jackson's character. So I believe there's 5 kills in total, and I'm going to give you guys my ranking on these. So the weakest kill for me has to go to Angie, which was the boiling hot wax kill, because it wasn't bad. I'm not going to sit here and say it was bad, but it definitely was the weakest kill. And I agree that it was shocking, but it definitely was the weakest kill. There really wasn't a lot to that. The hot wax was so she would smother. She had to cut her spinal cord, whatever it was. It was cool. I'm not going to say that it was lazy or anything, but it was definitely the weakest one because it just wasn't that effective. I mean, Angie was a great character. And it was effective in the way that you were like, oh crap, not Angie. You know what I mean? Because Angie is a very great character. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to see her die, but obviously that's what's going to happen. That kill was the weakest, so I'm going to put that at number 5. Let me see. Number 4 is probably going to have to go to the broken glass kill, is what I wrote on my notes, which is Pete's kill. When the shards of glass is shooting at him and it's going through his back and stuff. Now, the gore right there is amazing. The effects are great. I don't know who did the makeup effects for this movie, but it was absolutely awesome. The gore was insane right there. But that kill was just kind of weak to me too. I mean, this is just glass flying into dude's back, which would suck. Don't get me wrong, and it is brutal. But out of the 5 that we got, that one is definitely the weakest to me, because Chris Rock had to get the key. He was chained up just like I forget the guy's name. The 2 guys in the first movie, I can't remember their name. I don't watch the Saw franchise a ton. I am a fan of the Saw franchise, but I don't watch it a lot, so I don't remember their names for some reason. But you guys know what I'm talking about. He was chained up, and they gave him the hand saw, and it's like he was going to cut off his own hand or whatever. But that's number 4. The broken glass kill to me was really weak. And then next, I'm going to have to put Marcus Banks' kill, which I'm putting this at number 3. I think it's number 3. Yeah, number 3. I'm putting this at number 3 because, the ending of this movie, which was another topic I wanted to get on, the ending of Spiral was very, very effective and very, very heartbreaking to watch, because it's Zeke's father, which is Chris Rock's character. At the end, the puppet played a lot in this movie, the pig puppet, which you guys get the joke, pigs, cops, the connection there. And, there's a connection with the puppet and Marcus's kill at the end. When Marcus, he is the puppet and he raises the gun that's on his arm or whatever. And the SWAT team comes in and they just light him up because, they think that this is someone with a gun. They're going to have to take him out. It was really effective because when that happened, it was like, wow. I kind of expected him to die right there. But the way he died caught me off guard. I was like, is he going to die? How's he going to die here? Something's going to happen. And obviously when Chris Rock shoots him down, a.k.a. Zeke, then you kind of think, well, wait, maybe he's not going to die here. And then obviously he ends up getting shot up by the SWAT team, which is really impactful. And it really is heartbreaking. That really, it did kind of make me sad seeing it in the theaters. I was like, oh man, no, don't do that. And they did, which was a ballsy move. I'm kind of surprised that they did. But I liked it. I felt like the ending was really impactful. So, even if they don't do a sequel to Spiral, which I highly doubt it, the ending to me really is perfect. I think it's really good. Again, it's very heartbreaking. It really is, because you really feel for Zeke, I don't know, that whole ending is just very sad, but I put that at number 3 when I rank the kills. Number 2 is going to have to go to Boz, the subway kill with the tongue. It was a great kill. It's a great opening to the film, but it's not my favorite because there's one above this, of course, which is Fitch's kill, the finger trap kill / electrocution. That kill alone pretty much made me cringe when I first saw it in the theaters. I was thinking, whoa, This dude's getting his fingers ripped off. It's either he rips his fingers off and he can get away, or if he can't get his fingers ripped off, he's going to get electrocuted. So either way, that's bad. Like, just the thought of getting any limb ripped off makes me cringe. And the way they showed it, when you actually see like the skin ripping and stuff, it almost made me cringe in the theater. I was thinking, wow, this is brutal. But I pretty much, this is what I want to say. Pretty much every trap and kill in the movie is effective and really good. I definitely have to say that. Definitely effective and really good. So that's my ranking for the traps and the kills in the film. That's my ranking for it. So let's see. Where was I? Okay, here it was. Chris Rock also said a line that mentioned a movie. He was in called New Jack City. Oh, I've never even seen that. The wax kill is awesome. It really was good, but again, it's just the weakest one, I would say. Just shows he has talent to do other movies other than comedy, for sure. I mean, the way that he... I wanted to say this about Spiral, too. It's like, of course this is a horror movie, but if you sit back and look at Spiral as just as a detective movie, it's also a really good detective movie. Like, you don't have to be a fan of the Saw franchise or necessarily see all the Saw films to enjoy Spiral. It's a very solid detective movie alone. Everyone did great in it, but like I said, Chris Rock definitely shined. I mean, it really does show how talented he really is. It makes me want to watch more of the stuff that he's done, and I probably will do that at some point. But he really was amazing in it. I'm not sure if he will be in any other horror movies. I hope he does. I hope he does something else with the genre of horror. I don't know if it'll be Saw. I'm not sure if we'll get a sequel to Spiral. Like I said, I doubt it. But I definitely want to see him do more horror. I think he does fit pretty well in horror, especially as a detective. Now, obviously, if he does another horror movie, he may not play a detective. It may not be as good as Spiral. I don't know. But I would like to see him in more horror movies for sure. Did you watch that his partner was the copycat killer? Did you catch that his partner was the copycat killer the first time you watched it? Excuse me. No, actually, I did not. That's another thing I was going to mention. Spiral is really good at throwing the audience off. When I watched this movie, throughout the whole movie, I was trying to think, who could this copycat killer be? At times I thought it was, I don't know. I thought it was that one. I forget the detective's name now, but I kept going back and forth, and I was like, I wonder who the copycat killer is. Spiral is so good with the twists and turns. Like I had no clue that it was the rookie, because when we get to that scene where he was supposedly skinned and it has the Charlie thing on his arm, which Charlie was supposed to be the name of his child, but you come to find out that he doesn't even have a child. When that scene came up, I was like, well, the rookie's dead. So it was really good at throwing the audience off, because I was like, oh, William Shank is dead, which is the rookie. I was like, wait, he's dead. So it's definitely not him. And then we come to find out that it is him. It was really good at throwing us off, which obviously now, since everyone's seen the movie, we know who it is. But, showing it to someone who hasn't seen the movie, it's very good at throwing you off. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that glass shard kill. I love that one. I did too. But again, it wasn't anything special. But when you see, his back getting ripped up and you could see the bones and stuff, like, that was great gore. That was great effects. Again, whoever did the effects for Spiral absolutely killed it. It was amazing. Pete's Trap was too unrealistic. It felt like the Pee Wee Herman breakfast machine and glass shards are too much used. It was weak. I don't know if it felt not realistic. I mean, I could see maybe something like that happening, but it just wasn't the best trap. I think it just didn't, for me at least. I mean, if you think it was unrealistic, then you think it was unrealistic, but I don't think it was unrealistic. I just think it just wasn't great. It was like, okay, so he's just getting cut up by glass, which would be painful. I don't know if it would actually do that much damage to you, though, because if you look, all the glass that's flying toward him isn't like a ton. I don't know. It just looked like there wasn't enough glass to really tear his back up like it did. Maybe I'm wrong, because I don't know anything about that stuff. So I don't know. I just think it was just not the best kill. I mean, if you think it was unrealistic, that's fine. I just think it wasn't the best kill. I don't watch them at all, really. I watch Saw every now and then. Same here. Saw is not a franchise that I go to a lot. I love the franchise. I love seeing, the traps. I mean, you watch the Saw movies to see what unique traps they can come up with. And there was a lot of unique ones in Spiral. Again, I don't get the complaints with people with Spiral. Yeah, it's different, but, even if it is different than the franchise that we have, can't you respect it for that? I mean, I respect the movie for being different, and it's not that different. It's still very much a Saw movie. That's one pet peeve I have with the Saw fans recently. It's like, you're going a little harsh on Spiral, because Spiral's a really good movie. It's a really good detective movie, and it's a really good Saw movie, in my opinion. But it's not a franchise I watch a lot. I need to watch it more. I do have all the movies on Blu-ray. Actually, I got Spiral here on 4K, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. So here's the 4K of Spiral, and I do want to say something about this real quick. This, personally, is probably one of the best 4Ks I have in my collection. If you guys were a fan of this movie, I do recommend picking up the 4K because the transfer on this looks absolutely stunning. And I had to get this one on 4K because, again, this is my third favorite in the franchise. And I don't know, I just wanted it in 4K, and I'm glad I did because it looks really, really good in 4K. Honestly, this might be the best-looking 4K in my collection as of right now because you guys know September's coming up, and they have a lot of horror movies set to be released on 4K. So I don't want to say that this is the best horror 4K out there, but I'm telling you, this 4K looks absolutely amazing. So I do recommend it if you guys don't have it yet. Definitely pick that up. I would say definitely pick that up. Let's see. I didn't expect the rookie partner to be the mastermind. Yeah, I mean, it threw me off too. I mean, like I said, when we see, the rookie skinned, being, well, you don't see him being skinned. You see the aftermath. And you could see the name Charlie on the forearm, which at that point I was like, the rookie's dead. He's done. He's dead. Like the Jigsaw copycat even got the rookie, which that impacted me a lot. I was like, wait a minute, the rookie's dead. Are you kidding me? And then obviously we come to find out at the end of the movie that he is the Jigsaw copycat. Like I said, Spiral is really good at throwing us off. Yo, man, what's up? I actually watched Spiral last night. Yo, what is up, Michael Myers? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. Good friend of mine. If you guys haven't checked out Michael Myers' channel, please do so. He's a really awesome guy. And that's really cool that you watched Spiral last night. Perfect timing for the stream, right? Let's see. Do you think the partner escaped without getting caught? That's a great question, because at the end of the movie, after Marcus Banks gets lit up, he does. So if you guys, let me tell you guys like the backstory of the rookie and like his motive, because I haven't talked about that yet. So basically, Zeke and the dirty cop Pete, they were on so basically the dirty cop, which is Pete, shot the rookie's father. He shot him for no reason. He just shot him. They were trying to clean up the streets. The cops were, and Zeke tells William, which is the rookie's name, he's like, shh, he does that. And that's pretty much his motive. That's the reason why he did it. And of course, his motive is Zeke / Marcus, because Marcus was the reason why the police were cleaning up the streets, trying to get people off the streets that were involved with bad stuff. And that's the thing. There really is no innocent person in this movie. Everyone's dirty. You know what I'm saying? The Jigsaw killer's killing cops. The cops are dirty because they've all done bad things. The only one who hasn't done anything really bad was Zeke. And that's why at the end of the movie, William Shank wanted Zeke to join him, to be his partner. He's like, help me out. Let's get rid of these bad cops. Let's get them out of here. Let's clean up the department. And that's kind of his motive. He saw, a cop shot his father down for basically no reason, because he was the witness, he was the witness. He was the witness to something. And I can't remember. He was the witness to something, so that was kind of his motive. He was like, if you kill my father, and you really didn't do anything about it. He turned the cop in, which that's another thing I don't understand. It's like, Zeke did turn in Pete. Pete lost his job, and he was known as the dirty cop. So technically, I don't know what his beef was with Zeke, because Zeke, I mean, it was mostly with Marcus, but he did have some sort of beef with Zeke, because he's messing with Zeke as well. Because at the end of the movie, he ends up getting his father killed, so... But that's pretty much his motive. That's William's motive, which is a good move. Which is a good motive. I mean, it makes sense. It fits pretty well. So I was cool with that. I don't know what you guys think, but But I don't. Let me get to your question. I didn't even answer it. I don't think he got caught. I think he may have got away. I mean, I don't think we'll truly know unless we get a sequel to Spiral. And if we do get you guys can tell I can't talk tonight. If we do get a sequel to Spiral, maybe they'll explain what happened to William, if he got caught or not. Because as you guys know, Zeke didn't die. Zeke's alive. His father Marcus died. So Zeke could have told the SWAT, like, hey, I know who was behind all this, so maybe he got caught, maybe he didn't. We're really not going to know unless we get a sequel. Again, don't think we're going to get a sequel, but maybe we will. I don't know. It's different, but better. It's different, better than most of the Saw sequels. That's another thing I was going to say as well. Obviously, as the Saw sequels went on, they weren't great. I forget which Saw movie it is. I want to say it's like Saw 5 or something. But one of the Saw sequels to me are just absolutely boring. They're no good at all. There's one movie that I dread. Like, I want it to end. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, please just end this movie. I think it's Saw 5. I say after Saw 3 is when it started going downhill. I think 4 is okay. But after Saw 3 is where I think the franchise really started going downhill. It's kind of like what I think of the Child's Play series. Like, if Child's Play ended with Child's Play 3, it'd be a perfect trilogy. If Saw ended with Saw 3, it would have been a perfect trilogy. But I don't hate all the Saw sequels. I think Saw 4 is okay. 5, I think, is the one that I find really, really boring. 6, I don't even remember that much. Jigsaw was okay. Spiral was fantastic. I think it was a good refresh for the series. I think most Saw fans should agree with me on that. I think it was a great refresh for the series. But Spiral's amazing. So I do recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. But if you're still watching at this point, you pretty much have the movie ruined for you. So, alright, let's see. New Jack City was one of the earlier roles. 1991. Yeah, again, I haven't seen it. Let's see. What's the Saw movie with the best kill? Now, that's a great question. I honestly, I don't know if I can answer that, though, and here's the reason why. Again, I don't watch the Saw franchise a lot, so I don't remember every single trap or kill in the franchise. What's that? The bear trap's iconic. Everybody knows the reverse bear trap. Maybe that one. I know that one's the most recognizable. I feel like everybody knows that, even if you haven't watched Saw. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to say the reverse bear trap, but again, it's just because it's iconic and everybody knows it. But I don't know if I would necessarily say it's the best kill in the franchise. Jigsaw was different. Yeah, even Jigsaw was a little bit different, but it's still... I would say Jigsaw still felt more like the original series, like what we had before Spiral. So Spiral's even more different than Jigsaw. So I could see where people are coming from, but at the same time, it's still very much Saw. I think people just need to chill out. I feel like that treated Chris Rock character wrong. The police department, and when they show Chris Rock when he's younger, that turned in a dirty cop. Well, Fitch was the one who let Chris Rock get shot. You guys know that when Chris Rock was younger, Zeke, when he was younger in the film, he got shot, and Fitch was close, and he could have helped out Zeke, but it was too late. Zeke was already shot. Which, that's not the dirty cop I was talking about. The dirty cop is Pete, I believe. Pete is the one who shot the rookie's father. That's the dirty cop that Zeke turned in. I thought it was good. I wasn't really interested at first. If your first watch wasn't great, I'm not saying it wasn't, but I can see where you're coming from. But if your first watch wasn't great, watch it again. I actually loved it on my first watch. Like, the first time I watched Spiral, I was like, this is great. I love this movie. It's really good. I say give it a second watch. It'll grow on you. Don't, unless you're like, if the change bothers you too much, then I guess you're just not going to like it. Because that's the most complaints I've seen with Spiral, is that it's too different. But if you enjoyed the movie for the most part, but your first watch wasn't amazing, definitely go back and watch it again, because it's such a good movie. At least in my opinion it is. But, that's my opinion. We all have different opinions. I love Spiral, but definitely give it another watch. Oh, we got 80s Horror Fan in the house. What is up, 80s Horror Fan? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, as always. Hey, sorry I'm late. I was busy Googling MMR. Yeah, you gotta Google the legend Michael Myers Reacts. You guys can see all the videos I've done. Yeah, hey, man, thanks for coming into the stream, though. You could Google me all you want, I guess. Let's see. But on my second rewatch, you might enjoy it more. Yeah, like I said, give it a second rewatch. You know what? I'm actually curious now what happens when you Google MMR. Like, that's what's going through my head right now. That's why I have, like, that weird pause. Like, what comes up when you Google MMR? Like, that's hilarious. Someone should do that and let me know. But yeah, like I said, definitely give Spiral a second watch. I think it's worth your time. It'll grow on you, trust me, because it's a really good film. To me, it is. Like, even if you don't look at it as a Saw film, you know what I'm saying? Look at it as like a detective film, and you could still enjoy it. Again, you don't have to be a Saw fan to really enjoy Spiral. You don't have to watch all the Saw films to enjoy Spiral. It's a great detective film, but overall, it's just a great movie. That's really all I have to say about it. Samuel L. Jackson character was looked up to by the Rookie, but in the end he drained his blood. I wouldn't say that William Shank looked up to Marcus Bank. I wouldn't say that. I think he hated Marcus because Marcus is the reason why his father died. Marcus was one of the people who wanted to clean up the streets and get rid of people. So I don't think the Rookie looked up to Marcus, aka Samuel Jackson's character. I don't think he did because he's the reason why his father died. He said that, your father's the reason for all this. That's a metaphor. Like when he's saying your father's the reason for all this, he's saying your father is the reason why I'm out here getting all these cops killed. He's the reason I'm out here trying to clean up the department. That's what he means by your father was the reason behind all this. That's what he means. It's a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Would you personally like to see a follow-up to Spiral? Honestly, yeah. I think I would love to see a sequel to Spiral because I enjoyed it that much. I would like to follow Zeke's character a little bit more and find out what happened to William, aka the Rookie. I keep saying that because I don't know if everybody knows the names, but I wouldn't mind seeing a follow-up. I would probably go see it just because of how much I enjoyed Spiral. But at the same time, does it need a sequel? Not necessarily. I think Spiral's good as its own thing. It doesn't need more, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. It honestly could get a sequel. It did well. It could, and it also was kind of open ending. Like there's definitely room for more story, which again, it doesn't need it, but if it gets it, I'm all about it. They was putting them out every year in the mid 2000s. Yeah, every year in the mid 2000s, Saw was coming out, which is awesome. I'm kind of glad they don't do that anymore because that was kind of the downfall of the series. Like I said, after Saw 3, I feel like the franchise really started going downhill. And I feel like it was because they were just trying to shoot movies at us. They were just trying to get these films out every year, make it a yearly thing, which is cool. But, that's what the downfall was to the franchise. That's why the sequels were getting worse and worse. And that's why it ultimately stopped. I mean, if every movie was great and did well, then I feel like, we would probably even have more Saw movies than we have now. So I hope they don't, do that again. I don't think they will. I don't think we'll ever go back to that with Saw. I hope they don't do that with any franchise. I don't think that's ever a good idea. Let's see. That was the staple franchise for the 2000s. Yes. Let's see. I brought the Steelbook, but still haven't watched it yet. Wow. So I might you may have been spoiled actually, but you're still going to enjoy the movie. I mean, if you're a Saw fan, I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it. I could be wrong though. All right, let's see what comes up when Mr. 80s horror fan Googled MMR. So it says also known as observations. Let's see. Wow, this dude has a lot of stuff. I mean, that's vaccines. Why don't I just, when you look up MMR, my face should just pop up. You know what I'm saying? It should just me, just my face. Like Google should crash. Like there's no links you can click on or anything. No images. It's just me. That's what should come up, in my opinion. I Googled MMR. It shows liquid, drug, and needle. There you go, I guess. Again, it should just be a picture of me, but it is what it is. Let's see. I don't care about spoilers. See, I'm different. Like, if I haven't seen a movie, like I wouldn't want anyone to spoil Halloween Kills for me. You know what I'm saying? I would be so upset. But I don't think me saying what I said would really ruin the experience for you. I think you're still going to enjoy the movie because overall, it's a good movie. Like, it really is. It's shot well. It's written well. Everything is done well in Spiral, in my opinion. So, again, if you guys haven't watched Spiral, I really do encourage you guys to watch it because it's very good. Let's see. That's James Wan's baby for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing I want to talk about. So, obviously, you guys know James Wan directed the first Saw movie, which actually was a short film before it became a full-length featured film. James Wan, I think it's cool how, like, almost everything that James Wan does becomes a franchise. I think that's awesome. James Wan is a modern-day horror legend for sure, and I just think it's awesome that almost everything that he's ever done became a franchise. That's really like Saw, Insidious, Conjuring. I mean, this dude is amazing. At some point, I might do an MMR live on James Wan, just talking about everything he's done. If you guys are interested in that, let me know, because I may do that. Let's see. Well, if my chat will load back. Here we go. Once Terrifier 2 comes out and you're more famous, Google will show you. Yeah. When my picture's shown in Terrifier 2, it's going to be amazing. A lot of people don't get that joke, but there was a joke made that I cameoed in Terrifier 2. This was on that stream I did a few nights ago. Again, the link will be in the description to that stream. But there was a joke that I cameoed in that movie, and I said it'd be funny if, like, I was just in a picture in the background at, like, somebody's house in the movie. That would be hilarious. But hey, you're right. Like, once people see me in Terrifier 2, they're gonna be Googling me. They're gonna be like, wait, who is this guy? Who's Michael Myers Reacts? I gotta look him up. I gotta find his channel. I'll probably have over 1 million subs, easy. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. I'll have over 1 million easy. All right, let's see. Did Chris Rock do a good job? Chris Rock killed it. Chris Rock is the heart of this film. He's the glue for the cast. He's the glue for the movie. Chris Rock is... I think you'll be surprised. Like, if you haven't watched a lot of things with Chris Rock, as you know, he's a comedian. If you haven't watched a lot of things with Chris Rock, let me just say this, or if you have, Chris Rock is more than comedy. He's really good as a detective, and his role is very serious. Like, yes, there's jokes here and there, but those jokes really land, and it's not over the top. There's not too many jokes. Chris Rock, to me, was perfect for this. You know, from what I heard, Chris Rock came up with the idea for this movie, but I don't know if Chris Rock wrote the movie or whatever. I know he didn't direct it, but I don't know if he wrote the movie. But he did great. I mean, I kind of ate my own words, like I said earlier. Like, when I first watched the movie, I was like, Chris Rock, Chris Rock, Saw, like, doesn't really go together, but I was completely wrong, because he did absolutely amazing. All right, where was I? Hazmat is a great movie, but there's no sequel every year like Saw. That's so sad. Only if Machete Slasher was here to hear that. I always joke about him like, hey, dude, you should do a Hazmat too. Like, everybody wants it. Just one person. But we won't tell him that. All right. I'm excited to see James Wan next movie. Yeah, I want to see it as well. It's supposed to be on HBO. What am I saying? It's supposed to be on HBO Max next month, which I want to see. I don't know a lot about it. I've seen the trailer once or twice, and it does look like a pretty solid movie. So I am going to watch it on HBO Max. I'm not going to go see it in theaters because, I don't know, I'm just not that excited for that, but I'm definitely going to watch it on HBO Max. Let's see. Have not seen Hazmat. Hazmat is one of Machete Slasher's short films. So if you go to Machete Slasher's channel, you'll find it on there. It was from October of last year, I believe. Definitely give it a watch, Definitely give it a watch. Give him a view, at least. Let's see. Yes, a James Wan MMR Live. At some point, I might do that. I want to do MMR Lives that are, like, strictly on horror directors or actors. At some point, I'll do that. Right now, it's mainly focused on films and stuff. Again, I have a couple of MMR Live topics planned out for at least the next couple weeks. So again, if you guys missed the update, I want to give the update one more time in case anyone missed it. I'm going to try to make MMR Live a weekly show once again like it used to be. When I started this series, I did them once a week. I'm going to do that again. They're going to be every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss them. I'll always have a topic. I'll be here every week. If things change, I will update you guys on my Facebook page or my Instagram, so make sure you follow that stuff. All of that is in the description down below, so definitely do that. Alright, so that's the update on MMR Live, if anyone missed it. I agree with Horror Man. Do a James Wan MMR. I probably will. I'm not sure when it's going to be. Obviously, I'll schedule it ahead of time, probably a day or two before I actually go live. You guys will know what it is, in case you don't follow my Facebook or Instagram. But yeah, I plan on doing it. I think that would be a fun one. A comedian, actor, even some people put him on the level of Richard Pryor. Wow. Yeah, Chris Rock's awesome. I don't know if I'd put him up that high, but, I mean, he's pretty awesome. Yeah, definitely check out Hazmat. I think you'll enjoy it. Give him at least one view. Have you seen James Wan Dead Silence? I have. That's from 2007. And honestly, Dead Silence is probably... I want to say it's my favorite out of James Wan's filmography. Dead Silence, to me, is better than Saw. I don't know if I'm going to get hate for that, but to me, Dead Silence is better than Saw. I'm not sitting here saying Saw is bad, because I love Saw, but I think Dead Silence may be James Wan's best film, because I love Dead Silence. I actually have it on Blu-ray. That might be a fun one to do as well, a fun topic to do for an MMR Live. But yeah, I love Dead Silence. Such a good movie. Which we have Billy the Puppet on there as well, which is kind of funny. Which actually, the Saw puppet, Billy, is in Dead Silence. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but there's a scene like close to the end where you see him in the background. With that room full of dolls, you actually see him in the movie. Let's see. Do an MMR Live for Hazmat. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Conjuring or Insidious? Now, that's a great question as well. The Conjuring series is amazing. The Insidious series is pretty good. I know a lot of people hate on The Last Key, but I actually thought The Last Key wasn't that bad. But I want to lean toward Conjuring. But at the same time, the Insidious series to me is probably, I don't know, that's a really hard question. I feel like Conjuring's bigger. I feel like Conjuring's more known than Insidious, and I'm not going to say Insidious isn't known. Of course it is. But for some reason, I'm leaning more toward Conjuring than Insidious. So I might go with Conjuring. I might say Conjuring is the better series than Insidious. Even though, Conjuring has its spin-off series like the Annabelle trilogy at the moment, the Nun movie. Insidious doesn't have that. So I don't know. I'd probably go with Conjuring though. I think that's what I'm going to go with is Conjuring. That's a that's a classic. Hazmat heavily inspired by The Phone Call. Funny enough, like Machete Slasher will say no all day to this, but there is a scene in Hazmat that reminds me of The Phone Call. So he has this character, I don't remember the character's name, but he has like the his hair's dyed. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like green hair or whatever it was, blue. And he's like fixing his hair in the mirror. Now, doesn't that remind you of My Hair Looks Like Crap from the Phone Call? Like, come on. I feel like it was. He says no, but come on. 80s Horror Fan says Conjuring for sure. I think I'd agree with you. I'm going to go with Conjuring over Insidious, but both are great franchises. Great horror movies for sure. Oh, we got someone who likes Insidious more. There you go. I mean, there you go. I mean, I lean more toward Conjuring, but hey, if you choose Insidious, that's fine. I love Insidious and The Conjuring, but I'll go with Conjuring. There we go. 2 Conjurings, 1 Insidious. Any more votes? Bring them in. You could rank his films. I have a few ranking podcast ideas that I'll do at some point. Not sure when exactly. At some point, I will do some more ranking podcasts. I have a few in mind, but I'm not going to say them right here. Dead Silence is creepy. Definitely. I think Dead Silence, I want to say Insidious is there and the original Conjuring, but I want to say Dead Silence might be his scariest film. When I first watched Dead Silence, which was years ago, I just got the movie on Blu-ray. I want to say earlier this year or sometime last year. I don't remember. I got the Blu-ray recently, though, but I did watch the movie in the past, and I was a lot younger, and I would say that one probably scared me the most. I mean, Conjuring has great jump scares. Insidious has probably one of the best jump scares of all time with the demon behind Patrick Wilson. That's great. But I don't know. I want to say Dead Silence might be his scariest film. I could be wrong, but I want to say that. Insidious has great jump scares. Yeah, Insidious probably has better jump scares than The Conjuring does. But, that's just... But I think The Conjuring series is better than Insidious. What am I saying? The Conjuring is better than Insidious. See, when you talk too fast, you say things that don't even make sense. If you guys haven't noticed, I have that problem. Dead Silence is underrated, but I thought it was good. Yeah, it's definitely underrated. It's a James Wan film that's not discussed as much. Usually when you mention James Wan, people say Saw, they say The Conjuring, they even say Insidious. Dead Silence is one that's kind of pushed back, you know what I mean? Like, people just don't talk about that one as much. And I believe Dead Silence is the only horror film that James Wan did that didn't get a franchise. Because his first film, I think, was Saw. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure his first film was Saw. Obviously, there's a franchise to Saw. And then after that was Dead Silence, which didn't get a franchise. There's only one movie. And then after that, I believe was Insidious, because Insidious was 2010. So that was, because I think Dead Silence was 2007. I think that's how it went. I think Dead Silence is his only horror film that didn't get a franchise or a sequel, I believe. Again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Insidious 3 is pretty scary. I agree with that. That's the one with the old guy with like the face mask, like he can't breathe very well. I agree. A lot of people don't talk about Insidious 3 as much. When people talk about Insidious, it's 1 and 2, which those are the ones that James Wan directed. Insidious 3 was pretty scary. I think Insidious 3 had some of the best jump scares on the franchise. Actually, Insidious 3, to me, had better jump scares than Insidious 2, because there was a few in Insidious 3 that actually got me. The first one has great jump scares, but that third one, there's a lot of jump scares in that. I agree. Insidious 3 is pretty scary. Now, The Last Key, that one's not as scary. I think that's the least scariest in the entire franchise. But it was still a good movie. I know people hate on The Last Key, but it's really not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I still enjoyed it for what it is. He took it, he ripped you off. You know, it's all good, though. I don't own rights to My Hair Looks Like Crap, even though I probably should. That would be so cool. Imagine that. I owned rights to the line, My Hair Looks Like Crap. That'd be hilarious. Same, I was only a kid when Dead Silence came out, and my neighbor had a bootleg of it. I couldn't continue watching after the opening credits. That's hilarious. I was 8 when Dead Silence came out. I believe it was 2007. I don't think I watched it in 2007. I watched it a little later on, probably 2009. I was probably 10. I was still young, but I wasn't super young. And yeah, it was pretty scary. My first watch, it got under my skin. It was pretty creepy. And James Wan, you know, he's a master at doing that stuff. So it really showed in Dead Silence. I definitely think that's his scariest film. I wonder why it didn't become a franchise. I'm glad it didn't. It didn't need a franchise. You know what I'm saying? It was good as it is. I always thought that ever since I seen the movie. I was always like, I'm glad Dead Silence didn't get a series or a franchise. It's perfect the way it is. It doesn't need it. It's fine the way it is. Yo, we got, speak of the devil, we got Machete Slasher here. We were just talking about Hazmat and how you ripped off My Hair Looks Like Crap, even though that line wasn't used in Hazmat, but you know what I'm talking about. He's going to deny it. Just wait for the chat. If he admits it tonight, then I am going to be very shocked, but he's going to be like, no, man, they totally didn't take that from the phone call. He might have intended it to be a franchise. I'm not sure. I don't know. I never watched like any documentaries or any interviews of James Wan talking about Dead Silence, if it was supposed to be a franchise. As far as I know, it wasn't. I could be wrong, but again, I don't know a lot about that. Maybe he did, but he just didn't do it. I'm not sure what happened. What children movie scared you as a kid? Like Children of the Corn? Or I'm guessing you're talking about Children of the Corn. I didn't watch Children of the Corn when I was a kid. I was much older when I watched Children of the Corn, so I wouldn't say any of those really scared me. The first movie has a creepy vibe about it, but I wouldn't say that it scared me. Let's see. Dead Silence got mixed reviews, but I love it. I love it as well. I think, honestly, I think it's his best film. I think I'm going to go with Dead Silence. I need to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I definitely need to rewatch it. Also, if you guys have any more questions about Spiral, please ask them. I'll love to get back on the topic of Spiral, but I love talking to you guys about anything. Anything horror is fine. But if there's any questions about Spiral, please ask them, because I will definitely answer them. Let's see. Hazmat. Can I get a Hazmat on Blu-ray? Funny enough, let me show you guys something. One of the dudes who used to, I think it's General Carr, but used to watch my channel. Let me find it here if I still have it. There actually are like Blu-rays. Here we go. I don't have the Hazmat one, but look at this. A Blu-ray of Live or Die. How many of y'all would buy that? How many of you guys want the Blu-ray Live or Die? I should definitely do it. It's hilarious. Let's see. A movie for kids that scared you. Oh, a movie for kids. Oh, okay. I mean, I can answer that. You guys are going to laugh at this big time. This is hilarious. So, a movie that scared me as a kid that isn't a horror movie, and it is a movie, I would say, aimed for kids, was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I know that sounds weird. You're like, wait, what? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? The Oompa Loompas in that movie gave me like nightmares. I was just, for some reason, I was afraid that a little orange person was going to come in my room and kill me. Don't ask me why, but it absolutely terrified me. And obviously, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is not meant to be a horror movie. It's not meant to be scary. Something about the Oompa Loompas got under my skin and absolutely terrified me. I don't know why, but it did. Don't ask me. I don't know where to get them. Oh, the Blu-ray. Hey, I mean, if I could actually, I might look into it. If I can actually get Live or Die made on Blu-ray, I will do that, and I will let you guys buy them. I would love to make a Live or Die Blu-ray. I would do special features. I'll do the commentary. I'll do all that good stuff, even though nobody probably cares. But if somebody wanted it, which it looks like 80s horror fan would buy it, hey, I mean, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I will pay big bucks. Yeah, I'll charge like $150 for one copy of Live or Die. I don't know if you'd buy it then. Maybe. He means non-horror movies that scare you. Again, Willy Wonka, definitely. No, Willy Wonka is terrifying. It is, though. Like, I don't know why. The movie's not terrifying. But the Oompa Loompas is what scared me. It wasn't the film. The film overall never scared me. It's just Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The Oompa Loompas, like when they sing that song, something about that just gets under my skin and absolutely terrified me. I don't know why. Willy Wonka, that's scary. The Oompa Loompas, don't ask me why. All right, so I'm going to look through my notes here because I have a few other things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this as well. So we all know that there was a copycat killer which was the Rookie trying to be Jigsaw. What did you guys think of the new voice of Jigsaw? Of course, it's not Jigsaw, but what do you guys think of the new voice? Like when you get, you know how like you get instructed of how you could survive. What did you guys think of the voice? Because personally, the voice was off to me. I wasn't a fan of it. And I'm still not a fan of it. Every time I watch Spiral, I'm like, the voice of the new Jigsaw or whatever you want to call it was not good. I don't know why. The voice just sounded weird to me. If it just sounded like someone had a piece of paper and they were just reading it, like, if you want to live, detective, then you have to. It was just not great. I think they should have done something different with the voice, but that doesn't make the movie bad, in my opinion. It's not something that throws me off. But I guess you could say that is one of my pet peeves with Spiral. Like, what was that? What was that voice? Whose idea was that? It was just not that great to me. I don't know. What do you guys think of the voice from Spiral? Yes, a Blu-ray signed with your line. You don't know what's best for me. I know what's best for me. I will do that. If you want me to sign your Blu-rays and put you don't know what's best for me, I know what's best for me, I will definitely do that. Oompa Loompas are coming to get you, Ryan. Don't turn around. I mean, I'm not scared of it now. As a kid, I was. If you would have told me that as a kid, I probably would have like hid under my bed or something. But I'm not scared of it now. I don't know why I was scared of it. I mean, when I see like a picture of them or watch that scene, it's still it's not that it scares me, but it's still like I don't want to see this. I don't know why. It's not like I'm scarred from it, but I mean, if an Oompa Loompa was behind me, you would see me like flipping this computer and like I'd be out of here. No way. They are creepy looking. You think the Oompa Loompas are creepy looking? I do too. At least as a kid I did. I still think they're a little weird. I still feel like they'd kill somebody if they had to. Maybe it's just me. Machete Slasher says the voice is trash. It is. It just wasn't great. It could have been a lot better, which is unfortunate. Because obviously Jigsaw's voice is iconic. You know what I'm saying? It's iconic. Everybody knows his voice. This one is just not... It's not great. It just felt like somebody was reading it on a piece of paper, but it is what it is. I assume they would have used the original voice. That sucks. Yeah, no, the original voice definitely wasn't used. It's a whole new voice. It's not great, but don't let that throw you off. Like, it's still a good film. It's a small pet peeve that you might have with it, but it's still a good film. Just look over that, and you should be okay. The voice is so bad, it's good. It sounds like a creepy uncle. I don't agree. I don't think it's so bad it's good. I think it's so bad that it's bad. But that's just me. I just didn't like it, but it is what it is. Do you think William is working with another person since something he did required more than one person? Possibly, and if they do a Spiral sequel, I hope they would answer that question. Because, again, they can do a sequel to Spiral. Zeke's alive, William's alive, and they could reveal maybe who else was working with William, and maybe in the sequel, William would get caught, and maybe things would still be happening because he was working with more than one person. That would be interesting. They could definitely still do a sequel, and again, if they did do a sequel to Spiral, I'd be all for it. It's not bad to me. It's okay, but no Jigsaw, that's for sure. Yeah, Jigsaw's voice is iconic. Everybody knows that. This voice, I didn't like it, but, maybe that's just me. He did have random people deliver the packages, but I believe when the cop was stabbed... Where was I? I do believe when the other person did something was when the cop was stabbed, because at the same time... was at the... Oh, okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely more people working with him. Like you said, when the boxes were being delivered to Zeke, somebody was... He had people attached to what he was doing, so... that leaves more doors open for a sequel. They have plenty of things they could do for a sequel for Spiral. I definitely do agree with you. I do think there was more than one person involved, but definitely William was the mastermind behind it. So even if William got caught or died or whatever you want to think happened to him after the end of this film, there's still story that could be told. So a sequel would be very interesting. What do you like better, the voice from Spiral or Mark Hamill doing Chucky? Overall, I'm not a fan of Buddy. You guys know that. I hate Child's Play 2019. I'm going to go with the voice of Spiral was better. I think Mark Hamill is a great voice actor, especially when it comes to Joker and just all the stuff. He's an iconic actor, voice actor. He's great. But I'm going to go with the Spiral voice. I don't know why. It's just him as Chucky. I don't know. It was weird for me. You know what I'm saying? It was very weird. So I'm going to go with the Spiral voice, even though it's not great. And I'm not saying Mark Hamill's voice was bad as Chucky. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. Now, Mark Hamill is Horrorman 93 says more talented. Of course, Mark Hamill's way more talented than the person who voiced, Jigsaw or whatever. But Mark Hamill did great for sure. But I'm definitely going to go with the new Spiral dude or whatever you want to call it. But I think William was the one who stabbed the cop and the other person was at the police station, possibly. That's an interesting video. I would like to see someone do that, trying to decide if William did it or, his minions or whatever you want to say. That's interesting. You could be right. Maybe it wasn't William at the police station when Angie gets killed. Could be true. I don't know. Let's see. Oompa Loompa versus Buddy. Oompa Loompa. Buddy's so stupid that I could see that. I could see them making that movie. Child's Play 2019 was so dumb. I don't know why they didn't involve Oompa Loompas anyways. That would be funny. But I'm glad they didn't do that. But if I had to choose out of Oompa Loompas and Buddy, I would say the Oompa Loompas. You know what I'm saying? Like the orangeness of their skin and just I feel like they could be really brutal. I feel like the Oompa Loompas could just be unstoppable forces, and that's terrifying. I would be more scared of running into a Oompa Loompa in the alleyway than Buddy. Just being honest. Why is there no horror version of Willy Wonka? There actually could be. Imagine if there was. So, they get the golden ticket. Let's say in this version it's a black ticket, right? It's got like skulls on it representing death. They go to the factory. Willy Wonka's there. Maybe he's some old dude, like he's just old and he can't really do much. And they go in there and they think, oh, we're going to get free chocolate, free candy. And these kids get slaughtered by the Oompa Loompas. I mean, that's how you could do it. It could be called Willy Wonka and the Death Factory. There you go. Willy Wonka and the Death Factory. Let's call it that. I would pay for that as well. That would be really awesome. Maybe if I had enough people and like resources to do it, I would make it to a fan film. I would call it Willy Wonka and the Death Factory. Because if they were to be caught, it'd be better to have someone else be at the station than William, who is... that would make sense. Like if he was caught or something went wrong and they caught the killer, it would be smart for William not to be there. It would be, because if they did get caught, it wouldn't be William. They would think they had their guy and it wasn't William. So he could still be out there doing what he's doing. So I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So yeah, it probably wasn't William. It would be a smart move for him not to do that himself. Because again, like you said, if they get caught, then there you go. They would think it's somebody else instead of William. But yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here soon. So if you guys have any more questions about anything, Spiral, whatever it is, let me know, because I'll be wrapping up soon. Let's see. No, Willy Wonka in the Body Factory or the Blood Factory. There you go. Any of those work for me. I don't know. I just came up with Willy Wonka and the Death Factory. But hey, all those are great. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I just read online that in Indiana, they're hiring Oompa Loompas to unpack the boxes at the spirit stores. Stay away, Ryan. I mean, that'd be very strange. Imagine going to a spirit and you got these orange little guys just bringing boxes out and putting things on the shelf. I would not go to spirit. You know what I'm saying? I would not go to spirit. They could tear Buddy's head off. Oh, yeah, the Oompa Loompas could take out Buddy in a heartbeat. Also, at the soap factory, when SLJ is there, you can see the OG pig in the background. You know what? I noticed that a few times. There was a few scenes. I'm trying to think of what it was. When Zeke went back to the place where Pete was, where he was doing the rehab stuff for the people who were drinking, obviously, after Zeke is walking out, he gets captured by the pig. If you look as he's coming in hollering for Pete, you can see the pig in the background. The soap factory... Was that maybe we're talking about the same thing, maybe we're not. Again, I watched it last night, but I've only seen the movie I've only seen it 3 times. But there are times where you can see the pig in the background. I noticed it once. I may have missed the one that you're talking about, but I noticed it once when Zeke was going in there to talk to Pete. It's cool to see Tobin Bell and Spiral, even though it was just a photograph. Exactly. I'm glad they acknowledged Jigsaw and Tobin Bell. Or John Kramer, of course. I think it's really cool that they acknowledged him at least, because that's the least they could do. Obviously, they knew this film wasn't going to really have anything to specifically do with Jigsaw. So I'm glad that they at least acknowledged him. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I will unwrap my steelbook and watch it tonight. Definitely do it. Definitely do it. And then next time I go live or a video, let me know what you think of Spiral, because I really want to know. But I think that's going to do it for me. If you guys did enjoy this, of course, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Again, I always talk about horror on here, live streams, videos. Everything's always horror. If you're new here, please subscribe. That would be much appreciated. I'm trying to get back up to 600. I told you guys the whole story that I went from 595 back down to 574. I explained that in the beginning, which was ridiculous. But it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. You know, YouTube's cleaning up the platform. Do what you got to do. But I will see you guys on the next video.